Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today we're going to explore embossing your envelopes. I've got some tips for you. These are not embossed, but I definitely always telling my local stampers, and you probably have seen it on some of my videos or blog, I always say no naked envelopes. I just love, we've got the products, let's coordinate the envelope with it for a completed look. So stamping's an easy way of doing that, but I wanted to share with you how you can bring your embossing folders and incorporate an embossed look to your envelopes as well as stamping. So let's bring out the big shot and let's do some examples. My last two cards I made videos for you guys featured the suite Going Places. And what I didn't show, because I knew I was going to do this video, what I didn't show was that I used the coordinating embossing folder World Traveler to make a coordinating envelope too. How cool is that? So I want to show you how easy it is to emboss your envelopes. So, first of all, you've got your embossing folder. And in this case, I use crumb cake envelopes. And the embossing side that goes up is always where the words are. So word side up is right side up, and I'm going to put my entire envelope into the embossing folder. And so basically you're treating your envelope just like you would cardstock or whatever else you are wanting to emboss. Make the sandwich, and I'm going to run it through the Big Shot, just, business as normal for that. And when you're done, you get this awesome embossed folder. Obviously, you'll need to do a label on this to mail this, but what a wow presentation. Coordinating embossed envelope with your cards. Let's look at another sample. On I think my Lucky Stars for You card that I recently did, on this envelope, the stars folder is just on the flap only. This way you don't have to worry about writing or anything. But when they go to open it up, just the envelope flap is embossed. And I'll show you how to achieve that look. So with the embossing folder Lucky Stars, again, you're going to take your envelope. This time you're working on the back flap. And again, word side up is right side up. And so that's the side I want to emboss. And I'm putting just the flap in between the embossing folder sandwiches, and then the rest of the envelope lays behind the embossing folder, and we'll run this through. So again, making my acrylic plate sandwich, run it through the Big Shot. And now your envelope has some embossing just on the flap. I hope you're getting excited about playing with your embossing folders a little more, but I've got a few more tips. Hang on. Another way to add interest to the embossed envelope is you can take your ink. This is one of the new 2016-18 in colors called Dapper Denim. And you can take a Stampin' Sponge or a sponge dauber. And just like you can do with anything else, you can lightly emboss the top of this and get, and hit the ink on those raised edges. And so, you can really pop the embossing by applying some ink to the top of it. And you can keep playing around with that as much as you want until you get the look that you want. I'm using a pretty heavy touch right now. What I find with sponge daubers, I can pretty much just pounce right on these larger images like that. But there again, you would have such a nice little patriotic envelope that you could get ready to send to somebody for the 4th of July or Memorial Day. And my last embossing tip for you is that you can take these half embossing folders. This is the new Floral Affection embossing folders. You get 2 of them when you purchase these, and they're just just that. They add nice little accents. But what we can do is we can take these little half ones and we can go ahead and put them into our envelopes and emboss. And so this one really doesn't have a direction, so I'm going to open up the flap and do that. And so we could emboss just like we have been through there. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is you can go ahead and apply ink right onto your embossing folder prior to running it through. So another new in color is Flirty Flamingo. Such a pretty little kind of a peachy pink. And what I'm going to do is I've got another quarter of a Stampin' Sponge, and I'm just going to apply ink very lightly over the raised image. And again, word side up is the right side up. So I'm going to apply ink around that. And it might not look like much right now, but now I'm going to put my envelope in. Oops, let's see, I want it to go up and down. So I'm going to put it in like that. And then you can kind of see here for just a second if I have enough ink, and I think I'm going to apply just a little more onto one of the sides. So that's always kind of a good little thing of double checking. You can just lightly close it and then you can see. I think that'll be so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to close that up and run that through the Big Shot. And try not to get ink on myself at the same time. Sometimes that's a challenge when I'm making these videos. Okay, run that through. Now let's see how gorgeous this is. Oh, love it. Love it, love it. So now you've got like a beautiful little embossing off to the side, and you can still use this to write to and from. And how special is that? I just love this. That's so pretty. Love it. So I hope you have fun playing around with your embossing folders, kind of seeing which ones that you like to run through full, which ones work best just on the flap, on it, taking your ink and maybe adding a little color to it, or you can do that whole thing ink directly onto the embossing folder and then run your envelope through. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tips. Remember, no naked envelopes, whether you emboss or stamp, and have a great day. Happy crafting, everybody. Bye-bye.